This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. You can find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Welcome to Writer Tears, where I'm going to give you my honest opinion of everything Kamen Rider, basically. So I want to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz Episode 1 first. The premiere, I watched it, and I'm very excited, first of all, that Toei is doing this, that Bandai is doing this, that they're all working together to globalize Kamen Rider like Ultraman has been doing. Ultraman did a great job, except for some reason with this latest one. What's it called again? I haven't watched it in a couple weeks because I've been super busy. I moved. There's been all sorts of chaos. The Meteor one. Omega. There's no dub. Where's the dub? The dub's coming, but it's not here yet, and I don't understand why. I'd definitely be watching it week to week. Well, I'd be a lot more likely to watch it week to week if there was a dub, and I'd be a lot more thrilled about Zeztz if it had a dub as well. But maybe they're gonna do the subtitle, simulcast release type of deal first, and then if that tracks well, maybe next year I'll get my Kiva dub. Or my Kiva sequel dub. I'd take a Kiva sequel like that, man. Anyway, so, yeah. Big Papa Watcher. I want it set in the future. Never mind. I'm going to talk about that right now. But yeah, so, Zeztz, Episode 1. I gotta be honest, I didn't like it that much. All the visuals are great. It deals with dreams and maybe even dreams within dreams, which I find interesting. Like, again, all the visuals are slick. That opening where he's acting, or he's actually dreaming before his sister wakes him up by yelling at him and hitting him with a ladle, was all great. It was all serious. The tone was like dark, and like, I mean dark for Tokusatsu, dark for kid shows. I don't want I've never watched Game of Thrones. I've never read a book. It sounds nasty and gross to me, and like, I have no interest in that. I like children's fiction. I do. I don't know why, but I do. Kind of grew up with Power Rangers, saw the Guyver VHSs in Suncoast Video when I was, I don't know how old, but I watched the movie on Sci-Fi Channel too, the like live action one, #2 with David Hayter, Guyver Dark Hero, and like, I liked that. It was cool, it was exciting to me at the time. I also got like way into horror movies and blood and guts and gore, but like, I didn't really need that. The stories enough, like shonen stories are exciting enough, like Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no actual fighting, it's all card battles. That stuff is thrilling. So I love when you can get like really high stakes drama and intense action without people actually having to die. Like, that's just nice, because people dying is sad. It sucks in real life. And, in Kamen Rider, we get to see people in rubber suits fight each other and whatnot, and that's, like, it's just enough. It's just dark enough. It's just cool enough. It's, like, introspective enough that Kamen Rider draws me, and it's, like, kind of the perfect thing for me. I like Dragon Knight okay. I probably liked a lot of seasons of Power Rangers more than I like Dragon Knight, but like, I wanted to like Dragon Knight a lot because I like Kamen Rider. I love the visual, I love the aesthetic, I love the idea of the power source coming from evil, which we're not really getting yet in this show. Zeztz has done something really bold with its opening where it's not really giving you a lot of information. It almost feels like we're being dropped into the middle of the story, but he's not established as the writer yet. He is becoming the writer in this one. But some of the storytelling is kind of seeding the fact that something bigger is going on. Yu Takahashi is the head writer for this. I want to say that I know for sure that Yu Takahashi wrote X-Aid, which I almost didn't watch, but I did, and it's one of the best Kamen Rider shows ever, and 01, which I really enjoyed a lot. I think he also wrote the weird Pokemon train grasshopper alchemist thing. Goshard, maybe? I don't know if he wrote that one or not, but for sure, those two, X-Aid, Game Doctor one, and 01 with the AI. And anyway, I liked both of those shows a lot. X-Aid is actually fantastic. It's amazing, in fact, even though it doesn't seem like it would be. And it has an interesting blend of storytelling in it, as the 01. 01 was affected by COVID, though, so I'm trying to like kind of filter my thoughts about this show through that. There was like a long tail. I don't know if you call it a long tail. There was like background prologue stuff that you didn't know happened in X-Aid until a third through, halfway through, even towards the end you find out even more stuff about things going back into the past for it. For 01, it's kind of similar, where like things were happening in the background, things happened in the past, it got seeded back years ago, and now it's happening here, which I guess is consistent like with the way Kuga did it, because all this stuff with the Linto, Rinto, Grongi stuff happened a long, long time ago in a land far away, in the land of the rising sun. I'm detecting, I mean, I'm not a detective, I'm not Batman. They pointed it out that there's been this string of accidents that has happened where Baku has tried to do things to help people, and he's ended up severely injured. He was struck by lightning, but he survived. His sister said the gods have abandoned you, but I mean, it doesn't seem like the gods have abandoned him, because he should have been dead if they'd abandoned him. But he got struck by lightning. I don't remember what the other two things were, but I took screenshots. There's 3 distinct things that happened to him that were crazy things that should have killed him, and somehow he survived, and apparently each of them was attached to him. Oh, he got hit by a meteor, and one other thing. So that made me wonder, what is the long tail, if we're going to call it that, seeding this story from a long time ago, from the time he was in, I don't know, the time he was like 11 years old. I don't know, was that middle school? Anyway, like, what is this that's going on with him, and what does it have to do with the rest of the story? Is he a Kamen Rider because something happened to him when he was 11 years old? Sounds familiar. Sorry, I'm not throwing shade at Exit. I'm just appreciating the fact that I know Takashi's work a little bit. So is that what's going on? Something happened to him when he was a kid. He encountered a nightmare, and somehow he had the potential to become a hero in that. Maybe he even... I'm not going to say he's an otaku with Arrested Development, but he's way into, like, he doesn't have a job yet. He's older than his sister. She's like taking care of the household, and he's supposed to be paying for bills, have a job and things like that. And he just doesn't really have a job because he wants a job where he can help someone or be a secret agent. By the way, I'm thinking Rin Kiriyama, tipped his hat so that this guy, I don't know the actor's name, could snap his fingers and try to be a cool guy. It's a joke because this guy likes Double. That was his main Kamen Rider when he was a kid, and that was played by Ren Kiriyama, I think, who was a big fan of Minami Kotaro, who played Kamen Rider Black. So there's like a little chain from Black to Double to now Zeztz, and even it's funny, interesting, like a little bit of trivia, because those were all like fresh start type of Kamen Riders, and Zeztz is definitely made to be a fresh start Kamen Rider, an entry point for people into the franchise, into the series, which is great. I'm fine with that, but it's a really interesting idea that you would have, well, maybe they did it on purpose. I don't know anything about, not Minami Kotaro, but Tetsuro Kurata. I don't know if he was like a big fan of the original Kamen Rider or Sky Rider or anything like that, and that's part of the reason they picked him, or not. It could have just been because, he's, he's cool. Anyway, so, I don't know if there's definitely something going back there, and I wouldn't say it's Arrested Development that he's into Agent Zero, but there's the Agent Zero movies, I think is what it is, that he's really into, and he likes them a lot, so he dreams about being like this guy, kind of like an otaku might dream about being like a Kamen Rider, or a Takeshi Hongo, or whoever, or Minami Kotaro even. You might even dress up like him and wear his jacket and meet him in a fan convention and convince him to pose with you. And anyway, I just find it really interesting that we have the potential for this story to have been seeded from far in the past, and I don't know for a fact that that's what's going on, but it feels like it is what's going on, and regardless of whether it is or not, not regardless of whether it is or not, it's an interesting thing I see could be going on in the show, and I'm not sure exactly why that's the case or why that's happening, and it's not something against the show at all. It's just kind of a curious detail I noticed, that this might be part of the scenario, and that's great. I'm happy with that to be the case, but the rest of what's going on with the show is not so great, and I'm not as happy with, because we see this awesome opening with Baku having this Section Zero type dream, or sorry, Agent Zero type dream, and he gets to be this awesome agent, which, by the way, I like the little cute nod to the fact that he's using less than lethal rounds, because a gummy bullet or rubber bullet bounces off this guy's forehead, which was a pretty funny little moment. But anyway, he it starts off with this dream, and that dream seems to be irrelevant, maybe, but then again, it seems like they're trying to make there be a theme about dreams or dreaming in the show, and he talks about how nobody gets to decide what his dream is for him, and I don't really know what that means. And the fact that he's not working towards his dream in the beginning of the show, or when we get to see him in his real life, it makes it feel weak, and it makes it feel not so great. And I get it that he's got to have a character arc built in there for him, so he's got to be starting in a lower place before he ascends to this higher place where we can really appreciate his growth, appreciate his journey, and appreciate how far he's come. But I don't know, I don't feel like it. I don't think this theme or this scenario for him to grow is going to grow on me. I don't think it'll impress me. I don't know. And we don't always need characters to grow. They can be static characters, and they can change the world around them. Like, I love Forza. I'm thinking Gentaro, does he actually change, or does he change the world around? He definitely changes the world around him, and he might change a little bit himself, but he's all about learning to change the people around him, if he's learning anything really, because he eventually becomes a teacher. His story starts in high school, and then he eventually becomes a teacher, and he's trying to teach kids to be their best selves, and which is exactly what he was doing with other students at his school when he was a student there, with teachers, with the main bad guy of the show. It's all very consistent with him, and there's not a lot of growth or change for him. You don't need that, depending on the type of character. And I don't know if I wasn't hoping for Takeshi Hongo again. I mean, I'm honestly, again, I'm being honest, I'm always hoping for Takeshi Hongo to come back. Yeah, that's not what they're doing here. They're starting him off kind of as a loser. He tries to rescue a girl from getting kidnapped, which is great. He gets hit by a car. Very Yu Yu Hakusho, which I find interesting. I don't remember if X-Aid or 01 had any Yu Yu Hakusho vibes or parallels in them, but Yu Yu Hakusho, interestingly enough, actually has, which was not made by Shotaro Ishinomori, has a link back to Mutant Sabu by Shotaro Ishinomori, where a guy dressed very much, well, Yusuke dresses very much like the main character of Mutant Sabu, whose name is Sabu, who gets into an accident. He gets hit by a car, and that kind of, or almost gets hit by a car? No, I think he does get hit by a car. Anyway, it's very interesting how reminiscent it is of that. And then we have stuff with Baku going on here, kind of echoing what happened in Yu Yu Hakusho, but ultimately in Mutant Sabu. And I don't know, like, I haven't talked a lot about the monster designs or the action or anything like that, because I really care about the story, and I really care about being drawn into the narrative and like the structure of the story and how good it is. And X-Aid's one of the greatest stories ever told somehow, even though it's about, video game doctor guys. And 01's pretty good. 01 has some very cool things going on inside of it. So, but definitely rank X-Aid above it. But this right now, I don't know, it's like a weak start. I feel like X-Aid had a much stronger start. It was much more action oriented. I think, honestly, wasting like a third of the episode or half the episode on Baku's dream that seems to be irrelevant is part of the problem. And then, like, when he's in the hospital dying, he's having the dream, he's having the nightmare, whatever, and the nightmare guy is trying to kill him, which, by the way, I love that he dreams about being a guy who shoots people, and the nightmare monster that attacks him is a gun. Like, there's something... I'll be honest, I like guns, okay? In fact, there's one that I want that looks a little bit like what he has, except it's better. It's a browning, what is it? Bookmark? Oh, it's beautiful. Anyway, but I like, there's something very satisfying about the fact that the first monster he faces is this gun monster with, a chamber, like a gun chamber, a cylinder in his face of like an old, revolver. There's something very satisfying about that, and I like it a lot. I don't really know what the meaning is behind it, and I feel, again, like we're not starting really in media res, we're starting like, I don't know, some portion down the line, and I don't know how far down the line we're starting, and I don't know why we're starting there, and it's just one of the things that frustrates me about it. So yeah, I feel very dubious about it. Overall, like, it has a great exterior look to it. If you just glance at it, it's like fantastic character or costume design and things like that. The set design's pretty good too. I like the paranormal detective guy. Like, he seems, I get really good vibes from him, and the lady too coming in. Maybe she's more skeptical, maybe she's not, I can't tell, but like, I can see their dynamic being fun. Because he does say, that he believes in the nightmares and she doesn't. He's trying to convince her, sort of. So like, that dynamic could be fun, and I think they're going to be enjoyable to watch, but like, I don't know yet how they're going to tie into Baku's story. And he thinks he was dreaming, but actually, oh no, silly humor. He wakes up with the belt on his chest and the phone thing in his lap and whatever. And yeah, like, those kind of tonal things are weird to me, and like, there's like very Japanese style humor, I think, going on in the show that I don't think is the greatest fit for like a Western show. Like, I think Forza would have been good for a Western show because they're mimicking like American high school, and it works well enough. Aside from the zany humor, which was played for laughs, which I didn't enjoy, there's honestly, the weakness for me is, despite the fact that the suit is a cool design, and the belt is a really cool design, and the balls are a cool design, the balls that go into the suit are kind of goofy. We get to see a Kamen Rider Zeztz, like, 8-bit cute character, like, jumping up and down, pumping his fists up and down when he transforms, and that's not doing it. Like, I don't know why they thought that would work. And like, I really thought there was going to be like a spy, noir, secret agent type of vibe going into the show, and that he was like a dream agent, but that's all in his dream apparently, or maybe it's not anymore. Maybe his dream's becoming a reality. I'm not really sure how that works. I honestly kind of hope that they drop that vibe and that that aspect of the show, because the rest of it's like goofier and it's too much of a contrast. It's like a very odd conflict. To me, it makes for a very unsatisfying tonal whiplash. I want to wrap it up real quick because I've got noisemaker over here. And anyway, like the action direction was great. It looked beautiful. It was fantastic. I really love like the John Wick, like high stakes action, you know, gun fu stuff that was going on in the beginning. That was super cool. There was even a little Jackie Chan thing where he like pulled apart part of the gun and then kicked it and it went and hit somebody in the face. Like, that's fantastic stuff. And the shooting, and you know, the camera whips over here and then there's like someone's name who worked on the production. That's all fantastic. It's beautiful. It's great. And I wish that was the vibe and the tone that they're going for. I don't think that's what I think they're going to stray dramatically from that. I don't know how silly it's going to get. I don't think it's going to be like Gob. It's just because they typically go, you know, this way than that way. They kind of pivot back and forth, lean different ways to catch different audiences or whatever. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's not really for me yet, but I feel like it purposely has a slow burn start, and I feel like we're going to learn more about it later that'll help to contextualize it and make me more understanding of it and more understanding of the weirdness. But I honestly think it's a really weak first episode, and because it was trying to be two first episodes at the same time, I think is the real problem. The other problem with it is I don't think it's made for like a general Western audience or a general global audience, I guess you could say, which is weird. Just, I can't think of a good parallel except for, I'm thinking like shonen anime. Shonen anime appeals very nicely across culture, and I don't think this has a strong enough of a shonen anime type vibe to, or like feel to what's going on in the actual story to say that this is a success. Or rather, I don't think it's going to land with audiences the way a lot of, you know, some of the top shonen things do. It's not a My Hero Academia. It's not a, I've never watched Jujutsu Kaisen, so I couldn't tell. It's not a Yu-Gi-Oh so far, even though it's not a Samurai Champloo or a Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop, I've heard legends say that it's kind of meant to appeal to a Western audience. Samurai Champloo, I've kind of heard the same thing, even though it's in a very distinctly Japanese setting. I'm going to say Zeztz is very much closer to Samurai Champloo because it's in a very distinctly Japanese setting, but I don't think it's going to have the same kind of cross-culture, cross-world appeal, and I think it's probably the lack of beatboxing, honestly. But yeah, those are my honest thoughts on this, my honest review of Kamen Rider Zeztz Episode 1. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on it and what you think about it. If you loved it, why? If you didn't like it, is it for some of the same reasons as me, or are there other reasons? And that's pretty much it. Anyway, I'd like you to check out all my work, which I have all hosted at mjmunoz.com. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. I have a book out called Mockwing Mayhem. It's about magical bugs battling monsters, and it's a lot of fun. There are Tokusatsu or Power Ranger references in it for sure, if you like that sort of thing. And yeah, I'm working on another book that's not that, it's something else, and I hope to tell you about it soon. Until next time, folks, take care, be well, give me your honest answer. What did you really think about this episode? Magical bugs battle monsters in this exciting fantasy adventure. Gremlings prey upon children. Growbugs protect them. When a gremling finds a hidden growbug fort, the whole flock makes a surprise attack. How will the growbugs survive? Find out in Mockwing Mayhem. Learn more at growbugs.com, where you can find out more about our mailing list, receive behind-the-scenes information, and get all the latest news on the growbugs.